This is the Cafe Racer Podcast, episode 115 for September 15th, 2017. I'm Crash.
And I'm sore.
All right, so you're sore. I'm sore too. Why are you sore?
Well, my truck got totaled. I got in an accident.
Wow, that's
A couple weeks
crazy.
ago. Yeah, somebody rear-ended me doing about 60, and
Holy crap!
yeah, I was driving down the road, and the funny thing was, it was like evening traffic. You know, like 7 o'clock. People are going home from work. It was going pretty slow, and I didn't even know what hit me because I was driving, and all of a sudden, the back end of my truck went up in the air, like it lifted up completely. I heard this noise and moved the truck over. And of course, immediately I go into like paramedic mode. So I get out, I check for injuries, and some guy in a little Honda Civic, I guess, was trying to go through traffic real fast. One of the witnesses said he was weaving in and out of traffic, and he hit two cars and he hit me.
Wow.
And I figured, I got a truck. I didn't really look at the damage. It probably is not that bad. And then after I checked everybody out and figured out how many vehicles were involved, I went and looked at my truck, and the whole right rear wheel was, the whole axle and everything's pushed into the truck. Like he hit me that hard. Yeah. So unfortunately, they totaled the truck.
Like, this was your Dodge, right?
Yeah. Yeah. They had
3,500 or 2,500.
No, it was a 1,500 actually.
Oh, okay.
A four-door 1,500 with a ARE capper on, a topper and a bed rug in the back. And the sad part about this is the truck had 200,000 miles on it, but it recently had a new motor and new ring and pinion in the rear and 4 new tires. So since 2015, I've put $7,000 in that truck.
Yeah,
and
now
it was running great. Yeah, everything was fine on it. It looked good, and the insurance company really lowballed me the first offer. So I hired an independent adjuster, and I'm waiting to hear back from the insurance company since they got his report, because he included the value of all the work that was done. I produced all the receipts and everything.
Right.
So this leads me to another thing I wanted to talk about before we start talking about motorcycles. But
yeah, we'll get to bikes eventually. We both had pretty crazy couple weeks. I think yours has been obviously much more. And
mine's been a lot of fun, I gotta tell you.
Yeah.
And I say that with a smile on my face. So in the meantime, I've been looking to try to replace the truck for whatever I'm going to get from the insurance company, right? Because that was the other thing. I didn't have a truck payment, and I don't want to have a truck payment.
Sure.
So I found, I was on Overland Expo's website the other day, and I was going through the vendor list, and I saw a guy out of Missouri that deals in Toyota vehicles for overland travel. The he's a car dealer, but he doesn't have a traditional car dealership. He's got this company that, and I don't want to, I'll talk about it, the name of his company, everything, after the Overland Expo, because I'm going to interview the guy. But anyway, make a long story short, I found a truck on his website I liked a lot and had been corresponding with him back and forth. So there's a possibility that I may fly to Missouri, pick up the truck, drive to the Overland Expo in like a caravan with these guys, because they're taking a bunch of their vehicles there, and then drive home from the Overland Expo. So I won't have a bike there. That's a possibility.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Is it a Tacoma or a Tundra?
No, it's an FJ Cruiser.
Oh, okay.
So
those are solid. Like a buddy of mine had one, and like they're really well built.
He only deals in Toyota, and mostly what he has is 4Runners. And what he does is you can go to his website, pick out, they're all used. You can pick out a used vehicle and then go through a menu list of the modifications you want done. Everything from suspension work, engine work, appearance work, tents
Hmm.
on the roof, everything for overland travel. And he's got some really cool videos on the website. Um, like I said, we'll talk about his company specifically after Overland Expo if I end up making a deal with him and buying one of these trucks from him.
Yeah,
But that's a possibility. That may happen. I don't know. I'm waiting to see what I'm going to get back from the insurance company.
sure.
Yeah. And then on top of that, I've been locked in an emergency operations center for a week.
Yeah, I mean, so you're out in Central Florida or South Central Florida.
No, we're South Florida, really.
Okay. I don't know
Broward.
where I don't know where it starts.
Central Florida is like Orlando.
Okay.
We're in
Yeah.
South Florida.
Okay, so South Florida and Irma, was bearing down.
Yeah. So part of my job in the fire department is I'm a municipal representative to the county emergency operations center. So down here, every city has their own little emergency operations center. Some of them are, kind of an impromptu thing where they'll set up like a meeting room, put in computers and radios and stuff. Ours in the city I work for is pretty sophisticated. It's a full-time thing. We have a emergency management coordinator and a battalion chief in charge of emergency management, and it's a full-time operation. These guys do, when they're not working in emergency, they're training, they're making contact with businesses, they handle the CERT, which is the community emergency response team, things like that. So my job, besides what I normally do in the fire department, is I get deployed during an emergency and I go to the county EOC, which is a pretty big emergency operations center, and I
Mhm.
represent the city at that EOC. And they have kind of like what they call the municipal services branch, a bullpen sort of in that EOC with every city in Broward County, which there's 31 of them.
Wow.
Pretty much all of them have a representative during a disaster or a hurricane or something. So we got called in here in South Florida. We were expecting impact like early Sunday morning, like
Mhm.
2 a.m. Sunday morning. They wanted us to staff the place on Thursday.
So like you're sitting there Thursday night, just kind of like,
Twiddling your thumbs, right?
yeah,
So we
yeah,
made the executive decision that we would go in on Friday, and you're allowed to do shift work before they go on to what they call lockdown. So before they lock the place down, you can, send a rep in for 6 hours and then somebody relieves them. You can come and go. Once they go into lockdown, you're not allowed to leave. And they seal up the building and there's no windows. And, it's not the best situation. It's a 3-story building and there's there's areas to sleep, but they kind of retask some of these areas, and so people were sleeping under their desks and on the floor, and it kind of sucks, and you really don't
yeah.
get sleep. So I went in. I ended up going in Friday night, and my counterpart, the guy that works with me, came in like midday Saturday, and we went to lockdown somewhere around Saturday evening, and then didn't get let out until Monday morning. And then we moved our operation to our city EOC Monday. So we were doing 12-hour shifts in that EOC up until yesterday, back and forth. And the guy that I work with, Adam, he lost power in his house. So he kind of didn't, he couldn't even really go home and go to sleep. He
Yeah.
was like crashing in one of the offices. And then the guy that I spend the week with, I live with during the week, he's one of the commanders like in the EOC, and he had an arrow bed in my office because when I was at the county EOC, and when I got back, he's like, "Hey man, your office leaked." I'm like, "What? This is a Cat 5 building." Yeah, no, it was the wind was strong enough, and we didn't even really get hit bad in Broward, you know,
Yeah.
but it somehow or another, I don't know if it was coming from a pipe chase off the ceiling or what, but the corner of my office was like soaking wet.
Huh.
Ended up having to bring fans in and stuff, and they're gonna have to pull the carpet up. And we're a 5-story building or a 4-story building, so something above me was leaking as well because down below where the emergency operations center is, one of those ambulance or offices leaked. Excuse me.
Bless you.
Holy cow! Thank God I didn't do that in the mic.
That looked like an extremely like hard sneeze.
So needless to say, I haven't had a lot of sleep.
Yeah, yeah, you're definitely recovering. I know. I
Yeah,
know
I'm a
what
little
that's
punchy.
like.
I tried to sleep today. I need like someone to hit me on the head with an anvil.
Yeah, it was kind of crazy. Like I'm 3 hours ahead of you, and I text you at like 2:30, in my time, and I'm like, hey, do you want to, what are you up to? And you're like, I just woke up. I was like, wow, it's
Yeah.
it's rough.
Well, I got home today and then I kind of crashed pretty hard, but we're kind of lucky here in Broward. You know, there's some national news going on where we had some deaths in a nursing home that was just tragic.
Yeah,
So we were kind of seeing that happen real time. You know, we've got the radios on in the EOC, and we heard that local fire department call in a mass casualty incident, and we thought they had a fire in the nursing home, and then come to
yeah.
find out that it was you know, these poor people that literally begged to death in there. I mean, they were, some of them being brought into the hospital that was right across the street. They had skin temperatures of like 106 degrees.
How, what happened?
You know, the place didn't have generator power to run the air conditioning. And there's something that down here we call the vulnerable population. You know, I mean, that's a term that's used everywhere. So it's the
Yeah.
very elderly, the very young, the sick, homeless, people that can't really take care of themselves for some reason or another. And we try to identify where those people are prior to a storm, and make sure they have the resources that they need to survive it. So if it's a nursing home, and, you know, there's also different levels of healthcare when it comes to homes. There's group homes, there's adult living facilities, there's nursing homes, there's rehab centers, hospitals. They're all part of a prioritization with Florida Power and Light on who gets their power back. And typically it's like critical infrastructure first and people that like hospitals.
Hmm.
And most of these places are on generator power. Like our building, the generator for our building is the size of another building. You know, it's like 3 stories tall and runs off of underground fuel tanks and then back up on natural gas. It's pretty intense. That's what usually hospitals have too.
Yeah.
So this place was an adult living facility, you know, like an assisted care type place, and they lost power. They went on generator power. The generator was only running the lights, and the staff, for whatever reason, never recognized the fact that these people were overheating. There's no,
Hmm.
you know, most of these places you can't open windows. There's no airflow going in them. And right now we're having temperatures in the, you know, low 90s, and inside of a closed in building with no airflow, you know, it feels like it's well over 100.
Yeah.
So what had happened was, I guess they had a death in the middle of the night, and the person had a what they call a DNR order, do not resuscitate, and they
Yeah.
just, instead of calling 911, they called a nursing home, and I mean a funeral home. And then earlier that morning, later on, they had somebody that was had some sort of respiratory arrest. They called 911. The fire department came in and starts noticing, you know, there's dead people here in these beds. So they called in a mass casualty incident and started moving people to the hospital across the street, and then it just kind of blew up. So when that happened, immediately we started reevaluating every, you know, group home or healthcare place we had in our city, and identified one that was a rehab that was on generator power but was getting ready to lose their generator because they were running out of propane for it.
Hmm.
So we worked the problem, got them propane, then realized once we set crews over there that they were, you know, the air conditioning wasn't working. The generators don't power the AC. They're small generators. So we worked through the night to bring in large diesel powered commercial generators on trailers that the city owns,
Yeah.
got them back AC power. And luckily, you know, by the middle of the next day, FP&L got them reconnected. But it was like that in every city in South Florida. You know, it just went a little crazy because there's no requirement here for them to keep air conditioning running. They have to have lights and things like that. But so I think you're going to see the law change here quickly about
Yeah. That's crazy. Like excuse me, I don't really follow news much at all, and I kind of like hear whatever I hear at work, or if I go someplace that has the news on, but I don't really, or I see something on Instagram or Facebook or whatever, but I don't like actively seek out the news. And I had seen in Slack we were kind of talking about it. You kind of showed a few pictures of your desk, and then somebody mentioned the nursing home thing, and I had no idea that was a situation. Like,
it.
that's
It was on national news, made the
yeah,
national news that this happened in It's tragic because it shouldn't have happened. Really, that somebody there should have, and they're doing a criminal investigation. Somebody should have recognized, hey, these people are overheated. We need to get them out of here.
Yeah, I mean, it gets really hot in there.
I mean, we one of the solutions we had temporary was we brought a county bus in, and we were going to put people on a county bus. It's air conditioned until we can get the air back on and get something other going on.
Yeah.
And then there were some nursing homes in South Florida that evacuated, took them to different places, and that's really what should have happened here. But anyway, it is what it is. They're doing an investigation, and hopefully the law will change because of it.
Yeah.
But prior to
How are
this,
things? Go ahead.
I was just going to say, prior to the storm, everybody was in full panic mode. Emptying out
Yeah.
every gas station and trying to get out of South Florida, and they clogged up the the highway, and people were fleeing to West Coast where they actually got hit.
Yeah.
The Keys got destroyed. I don't know if you've seen anything on the news, but
No, I haven't. I don't really know what the damage is like.
the Keys are really bad. Yeah, and I heard another interesting tidbit. They said that this is the first time in 300 years that the island of Barbuda has not been inhabited. Every single resident was evacuated off that island because 98% of the structures were destroyed.
Wow.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's an entire country, that
Yeah.
got wiped out.
That's crazy. I didn't. How was anything? Was there any damage at your house? Like at your old house?
No, and I sold my house. So
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
yeah.
I keep forgetting you sold it.
Yeah, we haven't bought anything yet. So I never went by there to go see, but the damage up here in Palm Beach County and North was really minimal. It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, both my son's houses were fine. They only my older son, they never lost power. My younger son, they lost power for like, I don't know, 6 hours or something, and then it went back on. But
Yeah.
the farther south it was, the more damage there was. So in Miami, there's more damage. But the Keys is the eye wall went over like Marathon, which is just kind of up the key chain from Key West and did a lot of serious damage. The thing is, it's not for South Florida, it's turned the power off and people flip out because it's hot, number one.
Yeah.
One of the things that they do during a disaster is they have something called pods that are set up. These are points of distribution. And it's usually like for ice, let's say, there's like a semi-tractor trailer set up with people giving it out, and there's like a drive-through car line. You don't even get out of your car. You drive through and they hand you a bag of ice or a case of water or whatever you need, MREs. They set pods up in areas where there was open grocery stores. So we tried to like eliminate that and save that stuff for the truly vulnerable population, people that were in like low-income housing that had no transportation.
Yeah.
Or like these nursing homes. So we were trying to do that, but it's the worst part about some of these things are the aftermath and just how nuts people are. Traffic lights not working, trees down in streets on major roadways, power lines down everywhere. So into the emergency operations center, you're getting multiple phone calls on power lines down, power lines down. And what people are worried about is, hey, they're going to reconnect the power somewhere and energize this line.
Yeah.
FP&L they do a really good job of getting it done the right way. So we don't see a lot of that.
Well, that's good. I mean, it would make sense that, somebody like FP&L who, that Florida gets hit by hurricanes. It's a thing that happens. They if anybody's going to be good at, reconnecting lines after a hurricane, it should be them.
Yeah, no, and they brought 30,000 workers in to work 24 hours a day and night, doing the reconnection of power. So we're starting to see more and more places come up. I mean, they have on their government site, they have like a tracker on there where you can look at how many cities have power out and how quick they're getting it reconnected. So every 4 hours, we were giving an update to the, operations commander of, hey, here's where we're at. We've now got 13,000 people reconnected. So, but it's just, these are a lot of work, man. They really stress resources. They stress the personnel. A lot of times, I remember during Hurricane Andrew, I went down, we got deployed down to Miami, and I remember talking to some guys from Miami-Dade Fire Department that it was like the third day after the hurricane when we got sent down there, and these guys were still at the station and didn't know what happened to their homes or their family, had no communication with them, didn't even know if they had a house standing, and they're kind of, they're they're there and they don't leave, and you know, it's what they do. Well, you're on deployment, you just can't go, I'm going home.
Yeah, yeah, we
Right.
do that a little bit here. The when so when the hurricane hit Texas, our squadron sent a couple aircraft and some people. um, and then the, our guys were only gone for about a week. A couple other squadrons on the East Coast had sent people sort of ahead of us, and then they stayed a little after us, um, to help, with rescue or whatever. But I remember when I don't remember what the hurricane was, but a few years ago, I don't know, probably 5 or 6 years ago, a hurricane hit Galveston, Texas, and I was on a ship. We were supposed to be out for literally one day. It was just to do like some qualification that the ship needed, and we pulled out, and the hurricane hit Texas, and we pulled into Mayport, Florida, took on a bunch of supplies, and then went to Texas, and we're out for a month. Um,
Yeah,
so
there's
like
no, yeah, you're just not telling people, well, I can't do this. I got to go home.
yeah, I mean we we had guys. I was having grown up on the East Coast, I was like watching the news enough to go, yeah, that hurricane's going to hit and we're going to stay out and we're going to help. Like, I know that's what's going to happen. So I had brought more than a day's worth of clothes on the ship. I brought like enough that I could make it to do laundry and then keep wearing what I had to wear. Um, but we had guys that like had like two pairs of underwear, and they brought like one pack of cigarettes for the whole thing because they thought they were only going to be out for a day. And then, by day 17, they're like, oh, I had a cigarette. I'm going to go crazy. Like,
Yeah, it's funny too because you like at the zoo when you're in lockdown, they don't even let you like out the door.
yeah.
You can't even like open a door to go out. So forget trying to be a smoker there. There is nowhere to smoke. And you see, it's funny because you'll see like the veterans of emergency management that they come, what they bring with them when they go to the ESC as far as their bags are concerned,
Oh, yeah,
they
for
bring a
sure.
lot of comforts of home.
Mhm.
There was one guy there because the food like really sucked this time. Whatever vendor that they had bringing food in, I think I sent a picture on Slack
Yeah.
of
You did. You showed us that like hockey puck egg
paleo
thing.
thing that thank God they had like real bacon there because whatever this bacon, it was some sort of turkey bacon that was just it was horrible. I think it was plastic. I honestly believe it was just like flavored bacon flavored plastic, like saran wrap that they put in a couple layers and made it bacon flavored. But it was like this paleo egg thing with this Kofi. I don't know. It was just so disgusting. And then so I come into the ESC kitchen like one night, and it's funny. I posted that sign about the feeding. How many meals we have, and they
Yeah.
have something called a formal snack at like 9 o'clock at night. So there's like breakfast in the morning, then mid morning snack, then lunch, then mid afternoon snack, then dinner, and then in the evening formal snack. Yeah, I said next time we need to bring like those tuxedo T-shirts and wear them for the formal snack.
Yeah. Formal snack night.
Yeah, and then they've got mini meals at 1 a.m., which are like sandwiches and stuff. So I go in there one night for dinner, and there's this guy, and he's got like a juicy steak on a plate. And I'm thinking, where did he even cook this thing? Like, did he bring his hibachi and he got up on the roof and the hurricane winds and he's out there like trying to
Yeah.
light a fire on his hibachi, or he's in the stairwell with a grill? No, this guy had this beautiful steak, and then he's got all these cheeses laid out and stuff. I'm like, yeah, next time I'm going to do that. I'm going to bring my own food. He probably had the steak cooked at home and just threw it in a microwave because they have microwaves there. They have toasters.
Yeah.
Like the breakfasts weren't bad, but it, the dinners were,
I'm
you know,
gonna. I found the picture that you
yeah,
posted. It's baked eggs and avocado, tomato, basil, coulis, and turkey bacon from Deliver Lean Paleo.
it was gross. It was really gross. I'm
It really
sorry.
does look like a hockey puck egg. Like it looks like Pac-Man.
Right. It was disgusting. Yeah. So I went and got a box of cereal instead,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then like a bacon and cereal. But they do the best they can. There's no,
yeah. I
there's
get it. I
no,
mean, it's
yeah.
hard. I've been on. Uh, so I don't think I've announced it on the show yet. I don't even know if I've told you. In February, I'm going on a deployment. Um,
kind of said maybe last time we talked, so now it's not
Yeah,
a maybe
it looks
anymore?
like it's actually going to happen. And this will be my third deployment on a not fully real Navy ship, which is great. Um, but
Merchant
my
Marine
last,
type?
what's that?
Merchant Marine?
Yeah, I'm going out on the the USNS Mercy, which is a
Okay.
hospital ship. But the last one I did was on a supply ship, and Navy ships have 4 meals a day. They have breakfast, lunch, dinner, and then what's called mid-rats. It
Mhm,
stands for midnight rations.
mhm.
And mid-rats is literally just like leftovers from the other meals that day for the people that are working that shift. Um, and the the supply ship I was on didn't have mid-rats at all because it was a civilian only ship, and the only people that were working at night was us. So we had um, MREs and ramen that we bought in like Arab countries in their little duty free stores every
Mhm.
night. It was it was interesting.
So you just take the pork patty from the MRE and put it in the ramen?
No, I don't. I mean, that would have been funny. I had some ramen that I really like that I've never seen anything like it here in the States. Um, it was typical little brick of noodles that you would
Mhm.
microwave or whatever, but the sauce wasn't a it was the liquid, it wasn't like a pouch of like dry seasoning. It was these two different pouches. One was like a oil and like chili flake kind of pouch, and then the other one was a dry pouch. And you mix those together and put that on the ramen, and it tasted super good. It was like chili lime
Believe
flavored.
it or not, they have that at Publix here at the
Do
grocery
they?
store. Yeah, they've
Nice,
got a ramen bowl. It's sealed up and it's got noodles in it. It's got some meat like wrapped up, and then it's got these two pouches of liquid. One of them is exactly like you said.
huh? I
They're
haven't.
not bad. They're pretty good.
Maybe
Yeah.
I haven't looked that hard, but it was the first time I'd ever seen them.
It's like
Was
in the
over there.
deli section of Publix. So I don't know,
Yeah,
you know. No, and the food we had, our city is really good about taking care of the employees. We have a civic center that's got a full kitchen in it with a walk-in cooler and everything, and like a mixed crew, some people from leisure services, some people from the fire department. They, our logistics guy ordered up food beforehand, and we got 3 hots a day. It
nice.
was really nice, yeah. But
Did you have
I'm
a
glad it's
cot as
over.
well?
There's
So
two
you
more
had
in the
3 cots and a
Atlantic.
cot.
Huh? 3 hots and a cot. Yeah, well, that's what I
Yeah,
had for. Like I said, I was in EOC jail.
yeah. It's like being in prison.
Yeah, can't leave. But there's two more brewing in the Atlantic, and one of them doesn't look like it's going anywhere. The tropical depression, but that Invest 96 is looks like it's going to make the same path. I hope not,
Yeah,
because I
could hit.
want to go to the Overland Expo.
Yeah.
So we'll see. So let's talk bikes, man. Forget about
Well, yeah.
disaster. Let's wait.
So
Well, wait a second. Did you not have a bike disaster?
I've had a couple of minor disasters. I mean, definitely minor compared to truck totaling and a hurricane. But so you're sore from a car accident. I'm sore from playing soccer yesterday with Jess's company soccer team. We got our asses handed to us. Like we didn't score a goal. I think we maybe took like 3 shots on the goal total in 44 minutes of soccer. Um,
Did Jess play too?
no, it's a men's only league. Um, so like the couple, there's like 3 or 4 women that work at the company, and they all come and like you know yell obscenities at us while we play.
You guys
Uh,
suck. Yeah, right.
yeah, I mean they might as well have. Like we were bad. It's not like we're a great team anyway, but we were against people that were much much better than us. Um, it was fun though. My knees are all skinned up because it's a turf field, and like if your knee touches AstroTurf, it just like slices into it. Um,
That sucks.
yeah, it was still fun.
It's really
But yeah,
funny.
go
It
ahead.
reminds me of the movie Mr. Mom when Terry Garr brings Michael Keaton to the company picnic, and all the men at the
Oh,
company goes, "She brought a ringer."
yeah. The the minor bike disasters that I had. So the Suzuki, I took off Craigslist and eBay and all that sort of stuff because I figured, well, I was just sick of having it sit on there and getting the occasional like text message or call or email from somebody that was just gonna like not actually show up and look at the damn thing. Like it was like, probably twice a week that somebody would be like, "Hey, can I come look at it?" And then they'd schedule a time with me, and I would plan my day around it, and then they wouldn't show. Um,
Pisses me off.
yeah, so I just got fed up with it. I was like, if it makes it to the end of August and it hasn't sold, I'm taking it off, and I'm gonna go back to working on it, get it, and try to get it like really running properly, and then try to sell it again. Or maybe by that time, by the time I'm done with that, Jess will have graduated from Nighthawk 250 to GS 500, and then I'll just sell the Nighthawk. So
How
that's the
is
plan. Good. It has a small oil leak that I don't care about at all.
right?
We changed the oil. Fun fact: it doesn't have an oil filter at all.
What?
Yeah, it's not that
Freaking
the
limos
engine.
have oil filters. Are you sure?
Yeah, the 250 that's in the Rebel and the Nighthawk don't have an oil filter. I tried looking up the oil filter for it, and like all the posts were like forum posts going, "Hey, where's the oil filter on this thing?" And people going, "It doesn't have one." And I looked in the manual; it doesn't mention a filter anywhere. Um, I guess
Possible.
it has a screen
Green.
in, yeah, over the oil pickup.
Okay.
Um, that and then there's like apparently a spot inside the engine that the oil gets spun through like a centrifuge sort of thing that flings all the, heavier particles to the sides, and then they eventually just drip back down into the oil pan.
Hmm.
It's
Interesting.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, I just looked at a post on Adventure Rider and they're talking about it because I didn't
I
believe
don't
it. I think you were
yeah,
lying.
I I was completely flabbergasted. Um so I changed the oil in it just cuz so that we knew, when it had been changed. And I still haven't taken the dual sport tires off and put the street ones on, but it runs good. I used some high heat JB weld to patch all the exhaust holes. Um
I was wondering what you were going to do with that. When I looked in the pictures, when I thought you were putting some sort of like a patch on them, kind of like a
we
tin patch
did.
or something.
Yeah, so we used the first thing we tried was like this exhaust bandage kit that you can buy at AutoZone,
Right.
and it comes with this like tube of it says it calls activator. I guess there's like a chemical in the like paper cloth stuff, and then there's also like it's kind of like an epoxy that once you literally paper mache this crap on. Like you squeeze the tube into a tray, and then you dip strips of the bandage material into the crap you squeezed out of the tube, and then you wrap your
I think
exhaust.
you're making a cast, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The thing that you the other thing you do is once you squeeze all out of everything out of the tube, you're supposed to cut the ends off the tube, and then use it to cover large holes. So like you cut the tube and turn it inside out because it's a metal tube.
Hmm.
And then you patch the bigger holes with the metal tube, and then you wrap the bandage around it. It kind of worked, but it looked awful. Um,
Unless you wrap the
and
whole exhaust, or it's not
yeah,
that kind of exhaust, really.
it's you could wrap like the header, but you'd have to go. We would have to go all the way down to the end of the muffler because the muffler has holes in it too.
Stupid. It looked like a mummy.
Yeah. So we
Can you find it?
um,
Can you replace it? Can you find a used exhaust for it, or
it
is
was
it not really
about
worth
200
doing it?
bucks
Yeah. Yeah.
for the exhaust on eBay, and I didn't want to spend 200
No,
bucks
for
on an
what you got on that
$800
bike, it's
bike.
probably not worth it.
Yeah. So we took that crap off and used JB Weld, and it's worked great. We changed the exhaust studs on it because one of them was snapped off and you couldn't get the exhaust to seal properly. So now it sounds like a proper lawnmower instead of a lawnmower with a hole in the exhaust. When you run it.
How much has Jess ridden it?
She's ridden it a few times. She's never made it out of the parking lot. Um, and she was telling me the other day that she thinks that I might just have to like one of the days that she has because her work schedule, she has a half day Friday, and with my work schedule, I have Fridays off.
Mhm.
And she was thinking that maybe one Friday I'll just have to like get on my bike and force her to go ride on the street in like the neighborhood right by our house because there's no cars in it.
Is she
Um,
nervous? What's the deal? I thought
yeah, she's just nervous.
nervous, right?
She's a lot more confident on the Honda because it's so much smaller and so much lower to the ground. But she just has a hard time getting over that hump of like, there's cars out there,
Right.
and I've got to go out and like mix in with them.
Yeah, it was funny when my wife got the Bandit the first time, she didn't even care about that. She was like wanting to go on 95 and drive down to see her mom, like in heavy traffic. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of crazy. She's like, oh, I'm not worried about it.
Yeah.
So
But we'll get there. We were kind of hoping originally that she'd learn to ride well enough to do demo rides at AIM Expo, but that's not going to happen. That's in a week.
yeah, I'm excited about you guys going,
Yeah,
honestly.
it's going to be really cool. So that was all the thing we've kind of done on the Honda. And we're not really every now and then one of us has to remind the other one that it's just a piece of crap and we should not try to make anything pretty. Because like I'll think like, oh, I could work on this, but it's just a rabbit hole. Like,
Right.
and that bike is just there to serve a purpose, and it needs to teach her to ride, and then get sold and move on to the next person.
Right. I mean,
Um,
it's going to serve a purpose, and that's it.
yeah, it doesn't have to be pretty. It just needs to do its job and go away.
Yeah, and
Um,
if you drop it, you drop it.
yeah.
It's not a
Uh,
big.
we did change the headlight on it because it had this. The headlight was all bashed up and would not point in the right direction anymore.
Mhm.
So we got a whole new like aftermarket headlight unit and installed that, and it works fine. Uh, but the other day, since I'm working on the Suzuki, I had sort of this like series of steps I needed to take. Like I need to check the valves to make sure the valves are adjusted properly.
Mhm.
And then to troubleshoot the whole hanging idle thing, I was gonna get the bike warmed up and then spray starter fluid like at the intake manifolds between the carb and the engine, and see if the revs jump up when you do that, then there's a leak over there somewhere. Um, so I did that. I checked the valves. All but one were within spec, and the one that's out is the tiniest bit out. Um, like hundredth. It's like 1/100th of a millimeter out.
How do you
So
adjust those?
there's shims. So I have a few shims, and I looked through them. I didn't have the one I need. If anybody out there
Never,
happens to have a .275 Suzuki GS500 shim, I'd love it.
never
Um,
have the shims you need.
yeah, I have a bunch of other shims, just not that one. Um, and I haven't looked to get one anywhere either. Uh, but yeah, so if I got that shim, I'd change it. But I'm not super worried about it. Um, the and then I took the bike out on a ride one night because I've been working nights. So I get home at like 2 in the morning, and then I'm up for a little while after that. So I took the bike out one night, the Suzuki, got it warmed up, and then came home and did the starter fluid thing, and it was definitely leaking around the intake manifolds.
Oh boy.
Um, so I took the tank off, got everything taken apart, um, and noticed that the intake manifolds were just loose as hell. Like there's the screws that hold them on just weren't tight. So I tightened them down. I probably should have put Loctite in there. If they loosen up, I'll actually go back and do that. But I tightened those down, and then because of the way it's been running, I was thinking, well, maybe I should probably actually sync the carbs. So I made a like homemade manometer to sync the carbs with some hoses and engine oil in the hose so that
You're
I got level. There's tons
beautiful.
of instructions for how to do it online because I didn't want to
Right.
buy like a $90 manometer to do this one job. Um, so after I made this thing, I was like, well, I need a tank that I can use, like a fuel tank that I can use to test the carb sync with the bike without the tank on it. Because I need to take the bike's gas tank off to adjust the carbs. Um, so I bought a 1 gallon gas can and some fittings and some fuel line and put those all together. Well, the sealant I didn't really think super hard about. I got just some like silicone RTV,
Mhm.
and gas eats right through that crap. So my gallon of gas leaked out all over my workbench one night,
Oh.
and then I went later to do something with the Suzuki. I put the Suzuki back together because I thought I might ride it, and then I went to take the tank back off, and it was completely empty. Like the tank had been full, like 3 gallons of gas,
Was it
and
open,
then
the tank?
like was the fuel cap?
Yeah, the top open.
No,
Because gas is pretty volatile. You know,
it does. Yeah, it'll
evaporates. But
evaporate.
3 gallons is a lot. That had to
It,
have leaked out somewhere.
right. So I open up my garage, and the whole garage reeks of gasoline. So the first place I looked was my little auxiliary tank that I'd made, and sure enough, it's leaked out a gallon of gas onto the workbench, which is wood, so it's all soaked in.
Listen,
Um,
they got Tinder.
right. Heaven forbid that anybody like lights a match in my garage right now, the whole apartment complex is going to be gone. Um, but so I was like, oh, okay, and I didn't think to check anything else because like found a leak. For all I know, the Suzuki tank was leaking at that moment. Um, I the Suzuki's petcocks are vacuum operated, so the
How does
tank
that work?
itself, it doesn't. That's the problem. But it might be still working. I don't know. But the tank just has an on-off valve that is not, that when it's on, fuel is coming out of the tank and going to the secondary petcock. The secondary petcock is operated by vacuum. So when you start the bike and the engine starts to pull through the carbs, that vacuum opens up the valve inside the petcock that lets fuel in.
So it's normally closed.
Yeah. I don't know if maybe the petcock, which was brand new, but I don't know if the petcock is like maybe stuck open so that when you shut the bike down, it's still letting
It's
fuel into the carbs.
trash. 3 gallons is a lot of gas. I'm surprised
I
you didn't
know.
see a puddle underneath the thing.
That's what I can't figure out. So I was like, well, maybe if it leaked into the carbs, then it could have filled the cylinders and just soaked down into the crankcase and been in the oil.
And did you check the oil?
I drained all the oil and replaced it, but
Was it
it
wet?
didn't seem
I mean, you would have smelled it.
it
You would have
yeah,
seen.
it didn't I don't think it might not have been 3 gallons. It might have been, a gallon and a half, but still, it was
Okay.
a significant amount of
I know
oil.
this is like a mystery because if it would have went on the concrete, you would have seen a stain. Concrete's porous, you would have seen a stain, something.
There seems to be a stain on the floor where the Suzuki was, but there was never a puddle I could see
Well,
or
it
that I
depends on how
noticed.
old the concrete is. Concrete's really porous. It would, you know, but
Yeah.
still, I just,
It's
I
like
mean,
it's a mystery where this fuel went. I have no
well, like
idea.
I said, it's volatile. It evaporates pretty quick too. But
Yeah.
that sucks. Yeah, don't light any matches in the garage. Don't set off any fireworks or use a blowtorch in there because,
Yeah.
especially with that wood bench being soaked. I would probably
Yeah.
take it outside and coat it in Dawn dishwashing liquid and let it sit for a while, then rinse it off. I mean, it's probably
Yeah,
not going to help a lot, but
it's built into the wall.
oh boy.
Yeah, the guy that made it before I, started renting this place, it's like built into the wall. Um, so I don't know. Um, I haven't tried to start the Suzuki since because I ordered some other stuff for it and haven't taken and haven't changed the stuff, and so I haven't put the bike back together. But I'm uh, quite confused at this point.
So I'm wondering if maybe the thing to do is put some gas in it and put a catch pan underneath it and
Hmm.
let it sit for a while and see if it is leaking from the petcock.
Yeah,
The petcock's new, and you're saying that the secondary is the vacuum operated petcock, which should stop everything from coming out of the tank.
yeah. I mean, for all I know, like the
There's
fuel
no
line might have
actual
been.
where is there?
Go
Like
ahead.
there's no cracks or rust holes where it's leaking or anything like that, is there?
Not that I know of. Um, I also wonder if maybe I bought new fuel lines because the ones that I had, like the walls were so thick that you couldn't get them both onto the petcock all the way. So I
Mhm.
thought maybe when I reattached them, I had a small leak, but it's still a lot of gas.
That's a lot of gas. Yeah.
It
If
would
a
just
small
kind
leak,
of,
you would have seen a drip, and that's about it.
yeah.
Well, I hope you get that sorted out. Hey, so let's talk about AIM. Uh,
Yeah.
what's on your list? What are you going to ride?
Well, Kawasaki is actually starting their part of the show a day early. Um, Kawasaki is having a Z125, the little, the little thing looks like the Honda Grom.
Mhm.
A Z125 mini moto competition on Friday or Wednesday night that I'm not going to be there for because I won't be there yet. But and then Thursday morning, so the show opens at 10 and Kawasaki starts immediately, just like they did that time we were there. Um, but they're doing demo rides of the Z900 and the Z650 at 9
Hmm.
a.m. So I'm trying to schedule. They said, hey, schedule your demo rides with us. So I emailed them to schedule one um, on Thursday morning at 9 a.m. before the show even starts, so I can get a ride on that bike and then kind of check it off my list.
It's funny that Z125 looks like a Grom.
Yeah, they look almost exactly the same. I can't tell them apart, uh, like just on the road unless I look really closely.
There's a
Um,
picture somebody posted on motorcycle.com. Well, they did it where it's
yeah,
like a split screen kind of
huh?
the fronts of the bikes, and they look very, very similar.
Yeah.
This is
So
like
the
turning
Z,
into a big thing now. I know a bunch of guys that are buying Groms and doing like
yeah,
Grom
there's a
racing.
bunch of them here, around me. Like there's like a little Grom crew that I see ride around, Santee where I live. Like 4 or 5 of them that ride together. So the Z900 which is the bike I'm trying to get a test ride on, um, is like the
I don't know if it's
FZ09.
me or if it's you, but you keep losing bandwidth. Like,
Oh, that's weird.
yeah, you keep crapping out. I don't know.
I don't know. I've been having some issues with my internet lately, so who
So
knows?
there's 900 is the
Yeah,
one you're looking at?
yeah, the Z900. It's like the FZ09, um, and so it's like a naked
Well,
900
that's a
cc.
neat looking bike.
Yeah, supposedly, I don't know if they're going to do it at AIM, but Kawasaki has been leaking, like releasing, I shouldn't say leaking, but has been releasing like teaser photos of a retro styled looking 900cc bike.
Really?
Yeah, that it's got like a brown and orange paint job like the original Z1.
I'm gonna look this up. Retro 900. See what comes up.
You'll probably find some like computer mock-ups of what people like think it might look like. Um, there's been a few teaser photos where you can't see the whole bike. Like you can tell that it has a standard round headlight and you can see a little bit of the paint. Um,
Yeah, retro Z900 RS.
yeah.
Kawasaki has that retro standard. Ride Apart's got something about it. There are a bunch of, you know, yeah, I actually like this thing a lot. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I think I wonder if they're going to release it at AIM. Like if that's where they're going to unveil it because the timing would make sense. They've been, for the last few weeks they've been kind of teasing it a little bit and then AIM is next week. So I'm
Oh,
hoping that at their little
really
event
cool.
on
Yeah,
Thursday, they're like, "Hey guys, boom, look at this new retro bike."
man,
Um,
that is badass.
so and it would I'm assuming use that same 900cc 4-cylinder engine that they've got for the
It's
Z900.
supercharged.
What?
What? Yeah. No,
That's
that's
weird.
right. This can't be right.
Um, so that's about as far as I've gotten in terms of like actually planning what I want to ride. I think Jess might try to go take a test drive of a slingshot if we can. Um, we got an email from them about scheduling a test drive, uh, And since she's not going to ride any bikes, I figured, we were talking about maybe she'll go try to get on one.
Got to be careful. She might want to buy one after that.
We don't have anywhere to put it. So, um, the the show, I'm just going to kind of wander around the show and see who there is to talk to. And
We'll
we're
definitely go visit Senna and see what they've got.
yeah, we're going to post a lot of stuff to Instagram during the show.
Okay. You gonna do any Facebook Live while you're there?
Yeah, probably. I always forget that that's a thing. But yeah, so Instagram and Facebook both have like live options. So we'll probably try to do some of both. We'll have the,
Of course,
the
you're gonna have
cameras.
the Slack crew with you at every minute, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
See what you're missing,
Um,
people, if you're not on Slack.
yeah. If you guys want to like kind of be able to really easily ask me about stuff and like point me to things you want to see, go throw a little money our way at Patreon and join the Slack team.
You guys could have had an inside look into the emergency operations during a hurricane.
Yeah.
Well, not really, but you got a little
Including
bit.
me
Yeah.
awful food for lunch or breakfast.
So you did a ride with one of the Slack
I
people.
did, yeah. A couple, was it last week? I think it was last week. Rob, so he's been a listener for a long time, and he and I actually rode together to the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride a couple years ago.
Mhm.
It was the first DGR that I ever did. And he and I rode together to that, and hung out a little bit. And he lives really close to me now that I live up where I do. And we rode from I actually used Rever for the first time in a year, so that was kind of fun. Yeah, me and Jess rode, and then he rode on his V-Strom. We rode to this place called Julian, California. They have like a bunch of apples, like apple farms there, and they make a lot of pie and stuff. It's this cool little, like kind of old town that it's like a nice like local tourist destination, and the roads to and from are really really fun to ride on. So yeah, we rode, ate some lunch, and then or breakfast or something, and then rode back.
And we got our Slack crew down here with Doug and Scott. We had
Yeah.
some good rides. I kind of have mixed feelings about, Overland Expo because I really want to bring my bike there. So
Hmm.
got to make a decision in the next couple of days of what I'm going to do. I'm really
Yeah.
looking forward to this. I'm hoping that this other Invest 96L doesn't end up hitting us because it'll
Yeah.
be the third year in a row I can't go because of weather.
Yeah. The
Anyway, I was
okay.
going to talk about a bike, man. Like we keep talking about disaster, even though this is a festival of disaster. But I found this really cool Moto Guzzi.
Yeah, is that the one on Bike EXIF that you found?
Yeah, well, it's actually not that bike, but it led me to another webpage. So there's a
Oh,
bike
cool.
on Bike EXIF that they call it's an aviation style Guzzi from Costa Rica, and this
That's
is a
the one
neat
that
bike.
has an airspeed indicator.
Yeah,
Okay, yeah. So instead of having a speedometer, it has an airspeed indicator.
yeah, it's really neat.
Yeah.
The workmanship on it is absolutely gorgeous. It's a beautiful bike. But anytime I look at something on here, I always go to the original website of where it came from, and this is a company called GMT. Pronounce it, Chris.
Like
Atelier?
Atelier or something like that.
Yeah, it's out of Costa Rica, and this guy restores cars and motorcycles, and his shop is absolutely incredible. It's like it looks like a lab. I mean, it's beautiful.
Where do you see the shop? Like I poked around their website a little bit.
You go to it says home Atelier. You go to where it says Atelier,
Okay.
and the very first thing is their garage, and it's got like a 360 view of the garage.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Wow. That's
Right?
wow. That is obsessive.
It looks like a lab, doesn't it?
Yeah, like
It's all white and
that's
red.
super clean. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you could eat off the floor. It's got a white floor in it. He's got a lift in the center, but the place is gorgeous. I mean, it's absolutely gorgeous. And then you look at some of his projects, and when you go in the projects section, it's a mix of bikes and cars. And I mean, crazy exotic cars. A Ferrari 308 GT, which was used for rally racing, a Lancia Spider, a Dino 246 GT, you know, some really a mix of modern stuff like a Ford Raptor he's got in there, a Land Rover, but there's a Moto Guzzi Scrambler that is, it looks like it was built on a V7 and it's badass looking. I mean, it is really cool. You see that? This guy did an incredible job. We'll post a
Is this
link in the
the silver tank, like the
Yeah,
chrome tank?
yeah.
Yeah.
And he's got a lot of leather stuff on there from South Garage. It's just, it's really beautiful.
Yeah, the guy definitely whoever's doing all this stuff is very detail oriented.
Absolutely. Yeah. And he sells the stuff. He's got a for sale page that includes a Buell, but I guess you got to contact him. There's nothing in there about pricing or anything. I mean, there's the 246 Dino is for sale. A Fiat Dino Spider. The
Yeah, I'm digging the
Strada.
Vespa. He has a picture of what it originally looked like, and then you can see, how it looks now.
Vespa in there?
Yeah, there's all the way down at the end. If you go down, there's a Vespa.
Oh yeah, look at that.
It's an
Yeah.
old like kickstart Vespa.
What's this Yamaha Cafe Racer he's got in here too? Wow. That looks like a Virago.
I'm
Man, that is
clicking
cool.
on it. Oh yeah, that is yeah. That is a Virago.
Yeah.
Very
Next, he's got the
nice.
picture of the original in there. Yeah. So check this place out. It's the website is gmtatelier.com.
Yeah, I'll
Well,
put it in. I'll make sure to put it in the show notes so you guys can go check it out. It's really like I said, just a picture of the garage is kind of mind blowing. Like that he's got that level of like cleanliness and organization going on in there.
check out the Harley Davidson, the Martini Racing Harley Davidson.
Is it under projects?
Yeah. So I don't know if you guys have ever, if you follow auto racing and all, but Martini Racing has got a very distinct color scheme, you know, and Porsche used to run it, but he's got a Harley built up
Huh.
like this. And it's a
Yeah.
bobber with low bars on it. And this thing looks really cool. Okay.
The
wait,
the intake is really
That's,
really funky
that's off a
looking.
race car. That intake is off a Martini race car. Well, it's designed to look like it is. That's like,
Yeah, I know the car you're talking. I know what you're
yeah.
talking about.
Is that not cool?
Yeah.
Man, this guy's got some great stuff. Check him out. You guys will probably like it. It's neat. It's probably nothing that I would ever be able to afford, but
Yeah.
super cool. Okay, so the very last picture is the Martini race car, and you can see that air scoop on the top.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah.
not the air scoop because it's huge, but you see it on there, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild?
That's really well done.
Yeah,
I like how the picture is an F1 car with all four wheels off the ground.
yeah, right. It's really neat.
Yeah, I definitely
I wish he had like more description about
yeah.
what he had, you know, what he did and everything. It's kind of just photos, but
Yeah, I mean like some of his photos even have little things that says click here to add your own text. Like
right.
definitely didn't go super hard into, you know, the website.
So he's got a thing on here that they'll convert cars or motorcycles to racing spec.
Hmm.
I'm just wondering, you know, sometimes a website is full of crap for
Mhm.
lack of a better term. Like, but this guy seems to have the shop and everything. I'm just wondering how much of this, like whatever he's built, is actually raced or anything.
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't
know.
know.
It's cool. There's been a lot of neat bikes I've been seeing lately on bike uh, EXIF. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a pretty neat source for cafe bikes and
Yeah,
ba-
a lot of photos on there. Like really good photos.
okay, so let's talk about giving crap away.
Yeah, we finally got the giving crap away thing figured out.
Yeah.
Um, the first thing we're going to give away is the Nexx Helmets XG100. It's a pearl white, comes with a little snap-on peak or visor or whatever you want to call it, and then it has a smoked shield that's attached to it as well. You can go to our website if you want to just, the quick way to get to it. But we're also going to post links on Instagram and Facebook, so you can, if you follow us there, it'll take you right to our contest. Um, you got 2 weeks to get your get your entries in. If you refer someone, there will be a link. You can refer someone else uh, after you enter. It'll give you a special link, and if you refer someone, you'll get an extra entry. Also, if you're a Patreon supporter and you enter the contest, I'll see that, and you'll get an extra entry that way as well.
So Patreon supporters get, no matter what, they get an extra entry, right?
Yeah. But you got to enter once in order to get the 2 entries, because that way, if you're a Patreon supporter, you don't just get automatically entered if you don't want to win it.
And
Just
this
in
is a
case you
really
don't want to
great
win it.
helmet. We've talked about this helmet before. You've worn it a little bit.
Yeah, I've ridden it. I've ridden in it a couple times. Maybe 5 or
Yeah.
10 times at most.
Nexx makes a great helmet.
Yeah, it's a really nice design. There's a picture of it in the contest page as well. Um, it's a really simple, clean looking helmet that doesn't have a ton of stuff going on.
And it fits well with retro look.
Yeah, for sure.
Really well. Yeah. Next, I wore their dual sport helmet for a while. For 15 days, 3,000 miles, the
Yeah,
XD.
I was gonna say that's the one you rode on the Rise
Yeah,
of the
it
Vibes.
was super comfortable, and they have a comm system that's called an XCOM that's built in that you can plug in right to the side, and it's nice and low mount. I didn't use it with the XCOM because at the time they didn't have any available, but it's a great helmet. Really good. Had no issues with it. And the cool thing about Nexx puts a lot of thought into their stuff that they make. The interiors are really nice. Oh, I never got a chance to wear the XG100, but the XD1's got pull-out cheek pieces in case of an emergency. It's got plates that'll go in place where you can flush mount cameras on them. It's really nice. So if you want to check out what they make, go to www.nexxnorthamerica.com, all one word, nexxnorthamerica.com, and you can check it out. You can look under their full face helmets and you can see the XG100. They make a lot of really neat stuff. But we're going to give that away. So enter the contest, and if you join us on Patreon, hey, listen, 50 cents a month, right?
Yeah, I mean, you can have a custom. So there are right now two tiers that are listed on the website for a donation, but you can customize the amount. You could donate whatever you want. If you donate anything at all, you'll be into the Slack team, and then that's sort of like the base level. If you donate $5 a month, then we'll send you a sticker pack. And I don't have Patreon up right now, but there's also we're looking at adding a few things. I asked everybody in Slack to kind of like give me their input on what they thought some ways to increase the value for the support would be, and they've given me some really good ideas. So we're looking at adding some new things that to what you get for donating. So stay tuned for that sort of stuff soon.
Cool. You got anything else?
No, I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I got a new helmet actually. I purchased a helmet for myself.
What is it?
It's a HJC CSR3. I'll pull a picture of it up and then share my screen.
This is news.
Yeah, I've had that shark helmet for a while, and it really just wasn't doing it for me. The goggle straps got stretched out, and they're not easy to adjust.
Say that again, because I lost you completely.
Oh, okay, yeah. So the straps on the goggles got stretched out, and you can't adjust them like by just like pulling on a tab. You have to like take the goggles apart,
right,
and move things around. and to get them tight enough, they would actually pop out when I tried to lift the helmet up onto the top of the helmet. I
Mm-hmm.
lift the goggles up onto the top of the helmet, which I have to do every time I go to work because I have to show my face to get on the base.
Oh, it's a
And so I
pain.
wanted a more traditional, you know,
Right.
helmet. So let me screen share
I see
now.
this. Yeah, this is nice. It's
So
got a
yeah, this
really
is
decent price point too.
um I got the one, they call it the CSR3 Space. That's the color scheme that I got. And it's the white and black one. So I wanted a helmet with graphics on it, but nothing super crazy looking. And yeah, I rode with it to work and back the other day, and it seems good.
You didn't want the Spider-Man version of it?
No, no. They also HJC has like a whole Marvel line of helmets. They have an
The
Iron Man one,
the
and a
Venom.
Venom one, and a Captain America one, a Punisher one.
Dude, I would totally wear this Venom.
Oh, the Venom one's cool. Um,
That is
I have
bad.
a friend who has a custom painted Carnage helmet. Um, for those of you that aren't Marvel Comics fans, uh, Carnage is another character from the Spider-Man universe that is like Venom.
Uh-huh.
He's just a different color and crazier.
I'm looking for I'm on their website and I'm trying to find their the Marvel comic ones. I don't see them anywhere.
So you have to like look into each of the um like some of the Marvel helmet ones are a CSR3, some of them are an RPHA. Like you have to be in the actual like model
Oh,
for the
I got
helmet.
you.
Yeah. They don't
Okay.
have like a, hey guys, here's our Marvel helmets. It's kind of weird the way they have it set up.
The RPHA 10 is a great helmet. I've worn one to test fitted it, and it's a really nice helmet. Then they've got a pro version that I've not seen yet. Interesting.
Yeah,
They make a good helmet. I had their flip up for a long time.
yeah, I had one of those as well. The CSR3 is definitely towards the lower end. It's
Hmm.
kind of a budget helmet, but I just needed something, because honestly, like we get enough helmets to review or have been lately that if I don't want to wear it, I don't necessarily have to wear it.
Right.
But I wanted something that was mine and that I wasn't going to be giving away or anything, and that fit me well. So I bought that, and I'm pretty
That,
pleased with it.
yeah, I'm glad. All right, guys. So we're going to wrap it up. If you like us or if you don't like us, please go to iTunes and leave us a review on iTunes. Um, if you want to give us feedback, it's feedback at caferacerpodcast.com, or you can email us directly. I'm Steve at caferacerpodcast.com, and there's Crash at caferacer.podcast.com. And we're all over the internet on Twitter at Cafe Racer Pod, Instagram at Cafe Racer Podcast. We're on Facebook at Cafe Racer Podcast. But if you like what you hear, give us a review. If you don't, give us a review. Tell us, call us. We have a phone number as well for the show. Let me bring that up. Well, Chris talks about
Yeah, I'll talk about Patreon real quick. We talked about it already. Patreon.com/Cafe Racer Podcast. You might detect a theme here with the way that we have the names of the websites. But if you go to patreon.com and search for Cafe Racer Podcast, you'll find us there. And yeah, like I said, any donation to Patreon at all will get you a entry into the Slack team. And then we're really asking for like $1 a month. It's not that much money. If you want to go above and beyond and give us $5 a month, we'll send you a sweet sticker pack. And I keep digging up more stickers, so every time I find new ones, you'll end up whenever you donate, there'll be different sticker packs than the last people got. Because I have a bunch of stickers that I just mix and match. And if you if you want to get on the contest, then head on over to the website or Facebook or Instagram, and you'll find a contest link there. You can enter to win and refer to your friends, so you get more entries to win, and support on Patreon, so you get more entries to win.
If you want to call us, you can go to Instagram, and on our page it says call. It is 561-285-7190. And I actually thought we had that on Facebook as well, but I have to add that.
Okay. Well,
Um, you can
if your
call us.
call is
Yeah,
go
it'll
ahead.
leave us a voicemail or a text message to me, and we'll get back to you.
Yeah, and if your call is particularly interesting, like you yell at us a lot and it's really funny, or you have something of value to add to the show, we will play it on air.
Cool.
So, without any further ado, get out and ride.
See ya.